Hi guys, and welcome to a new Let's Play. This game is obviously called Gnomoria, or Gnomoria. It depends how you pronounce gnome. I pronounce gnomes as gnomes. Gnomes are gnomes. Actually don't know how new it is, to be honest. I think it's been out for a little, well, in alpha for a little while. But it's available for purchase in its current state, so you can go and try it if you want. There's a few options here. Pause and show enemies when spotted. You can change the controls, turn the music off, which I have for this for recording purposes, and yeah, that's about it. So I've got a game already going, but I'm going to show you guys a new game. So we'll hit randomize a few times, but I think I know what I'm going to call it. Oops, that'll do. We're going to play it. We're going to do a standard map. I'm going to pop it onto peaceful because I don't really want to feel rushed and feel attacked. I will show you guys how to defend yourselves though, if we get that far. Kingdom Center, I'm going to put it 50 towards the, I think that puts you in the bottom right, I can't remember, but I don't want to be right in the middle of the map. So and this is a seed, like in Minecraft you can change the seeds, so I'll just pop in some random numbers here, that'll do, and then we'll generate. So it takes a little while to generate, so I'll just explain what it is. I'm a big fan of games like Dwarf Fortress. Dungeon Keeper was one of my favourite games when I was little, even though I didn't have a computer. I used to go over to my friend's dad's house to play it on his computer, and that was an awesome game. So, really interested in Dwarf Fortress when it came out a million years ago, but I didn't get into it when it first came out, and it's too complicated. I am not smart enough to figure out how to play Dwarf Fortress. Even with the graphical interface and all that stuff, still not smart enough. So I've been hunting around for some similar like games. There's a few. I played Towns a lot recently. I bought a copy for myself and one for my wife, who became completely hooked and has made the most efficient town that you can possibly make, even though it's still in alpha or beta. I can't remember what Towns is in now. This one is, again, very similar to Towns. It does a few things differently. It has a different graphical style going on, and it's up to you if, you know, which one you prefer. But I thought, you know, I mean, there's tons of Let's Plays of this already, but I'm playing it, and it's a game that a lot of people seem to be enjoying, so I thought, you know, why the hell not? You start off with a few settlers, you make up a working town, you can go mining, you can alter the landscape, you can do some farming, you can, you know, make weapons and armour to defend your gnomes. You're all gnomes, by the way, that's why it's called Gnomoria. Everyone is a gnome. You start off with 9 gnomes, you can attract more. They can die if they starve or they get killed in combat, which hopefully they won't since I put it on peaceful. Yeah, and that's about it. So we're just going to wait a few more seconds for it to load. Or it's settling liquids right now. There's liquids. I don't know if there's lava. I haven't dug that deep yet. The game goes very deep. Oh, we've started with a yak right here. That's fun. Right, so this is the main game screen. So these are my gnomes. Over here we've got 3 crates, 2 bags, and what looks like 2 barrels. We've got a yak. Oh, we've got 2 yaks. That's handy. We've got some of our gnomes. They all have professions, and depending on what their professions are, that'll depend on like what they do. So let's have a quick look around at the landscape. Oh wow, we've got an awesome river. Ah, wow, this is a really cool map. Well, I know where I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I know where I am building. So we've got a little hill here, little hill over here, some fruit trees. I don't know what's down here. Looks like a mountain. So the controls are basically WASD to move around. You can scroll up with the mouse and you'll like scroll up layers, and you can also scroll down with the mouse. See, as I scroll down, it'll cut into this mountain, and now I'm below ground. So I can just see water. You can tell how deep you are by this depth meter up here. So you can go all the way up to, I think, like 30. Oh, 25 is the highest. So that is right on the top of this mountain. And then as I scroll down, you'll notice that this mountain should get cut into. There you go, see? Oh, I love it. I love it. I love the graphics and everything. It's awesome. So, right. So we need to choose where we are going to live. Now, being near running water is a pretty cool, well, not running water, but just being near water is a cool, a useful thing to be near. You also need to be near some food, which are these fruit trees here. There's also a bunch of fruit trees and a bunch more fruit trees here. It's cool to be able to cut into a mountain to live. I kind of wish that this mountain was a little bit higher. I'm kind of considering building in here, but nah, there's too much water there. We'll build here. We'll build in this area here. So, you don't control your dudes, like... Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Directly. That's it. That's not a hard word, so I don't know why it took me so long to think of that. You control them using all of these little menus down here. You've got terrain, agriculture, building, designating areas, deconstructing, removing designations and cancelling. And you can also right-click anywhere to bring up the map. The menu. That's the word that I'm looking for. So we're going to start by doing a bit of agriculture and cutting down some trees. So I'm just going to cut down these pine trees here. I'm also going to tell my guys to forage, and that'll get rid of these 3 bushes here. I'm also going to tell them to forage a bunch of these trees, because that will provide fruit, because these are apple trees. So, if I press unpause now, a bunch of my dudes will start running around. And the rest will just kind of idle because they don't have anything to do right now. So these guys here, see the ones with the axes? They are woodcutters. If I click them, it'll say Rubble Bingledock Woodcutter. Rubble Bingledock is the name of the gnome, and woodcutter is their profession. So if I click this one over here, this is one farmer. So you can tell that they're farmers. So they're just going to cut down those few logs there. That's good. Right. So now that they've cut those down, actually I'm going to wait for these guys to finish farming all of these delicious apples from these trees. Hurry up, guys. Come on. Can actually speed it up a bit if you're waiting around. Right, there you go. So now what I'm going to tell them to do is cut some clippings from these trees. Now, clippings are going to be really useful later on when I want to start growing my own trees. So again, the farmers deal with the clippings. So I'll just tell them to clip this tree as well. And then what I can do is tell the woodcutters to chop the trees down. So they're going to chop all of them down. Just tell them to get those few as well, and this one. Right, so now I've got a tiny clearing area. But what I'm going to need to do is start going down a level. So, right, let's start digging. So, in the terrain menu, we've got mine, dig, remove floor, remove ramp, replace wall, and replace floor. Won't worry about those last 4 at the moment, although remove floor and remove ramp is pretty self-explanatory, you'll see as we go on. Mining is like digging out straight on the level that you're currently on, and digging is digging down. So what we want to do is just mine, first of all, so I'll just tell them to... Ooh. Where did I... Oh, there we go, right, so they're mining on this floor, which is good. So we'll just tell them to mine in those 3 and see what it looks like afterwards. Where are my miners? Ah, there's one. He's coming along to dig in. Right, so he has now... Oh, that's handy. See, he's left the ceiling of the grass tile. So, you know, I'm like digging underground now. So that's pretty cool. So what I might as well do is dig a little bit further in and dig that out. Gotta wait for the other miner to turn up now. Right, it's already getting to the point where I can't really see what my guys are doing, so I'm going to hit F, and that will, you know, shorten the walls so you can see it. So that's F for Freddy, which will make it, yeah, you can either see or not see. It's up to you. So we're going to go into dig now, because I want to dig a staircase down. So you hit dig stairs down, press R to rotate it, I've put it in the wrong place. So that's okay. So I've put one in the middle, which is where I want it, but I accidentally clicked one up here. So we're just going to go to cancel job. You could also hit the numbers if clicking doesn't work, which it doesn't always. There you go. So, there you go. So they dug down now. So now we can go down here, go back into our mine wall. I'll bring the walls back up so I can see what I'm doing. And there you go. So now we can tell them to start digging out. So the first thing I'm going to do is dig out a long strip. Actually, how many is that? That is 9, 10, 11. That'll do. And I'm going to dig out some storage areas. So I'll do a 4x4 there, 4x4 there. I'll unpause it so they can get to it. 4x4 there, I'll connect it there. And a 4x4 there and connect it there. I'll take the walls down again so we can see what the hell we're doing. Now, as you can tell, it's quite dark down here. The gnomes have a little bit of like light aura around them, but yeah, it's still quite dark. That'll unfortunately be a problem for quite a while until we can make torches, which are quite a little bit later in the game. So we have made ourselves 4x4 areas. Unfortunately, they're all quite clodded up with dirt. So I'm going to designate a stockpile here. That was in right click, designate area stockpile. And now it will bring up the menu asking what kind of goods you want to store on the stockpile. So if I go into goods and say soil, so that will tell them that any kind of soil, which only comes in clumps at the moment, but maybe later in development will come something else, will be stored in this stockpile. Now, the cool thing about dirt and clay and stuff like that is up to 64 little bits of dirt can be stored in one tile. So as you can see here, if I pause it, in the menu it's got there, dirt pile 31 out of 64. So they're piling all of that dirt into one square, and they'll have to take up another square soon. See, so they start taking up the other squares, but then they'll condense them all again because they're not idiots. There you go. So now I've got 4 nice clean areas to use as stockpiles. So what I'll do, I'll pause it again. You want to keep the game paused while you're not actually telling them to do anything, because, well, at least until you've got your food and your drink supplies sorted out, because you know, while you're making your choices, your gnomes would be starving, which isn't really good. So we're going to designate another stockpile. And for some reason the menu didn't come up for that one, but it's okay, you can just right click it and bring up the same menu. On this one, I'm going to say I want wood. I'm going to go back into this one and say I also want stone. I haven't found any stone yet, but you know, it'll be useful later. So you can see these have gone green. That's because gnomes are itching to start putting some wood there. They are ready to do it as soon as I unpause, but I'm going to keep it paused while I designate my stockpiles. In this one, so what have we got? We've got soil, stone and wood. In this one I'll put cloth and hide. They're items that will come across soon. And in this one I will put food and drink. Right. So now, if I unpause, they should all go up top side, pick up bits of wood, and come back down here and plonk it all in. Now, that's obviously not enough. Now, let me start again. Dirt can be stockpiled 64 in one square. Unfortunately, wood cannot. Wood can only be, most items cannot. Stone blocks can't, food can't, nothing else that I've really seen can be stacked. That might not be true, that there might be other exceptions. But out of what I've seen so far, dirt and raw stone are the only things that can be stacked. So yeah, wood, that's going to fill up quickly, but that's okay. When it's full, they just won't bring any more down, which is okay. And then as I use this wood, they'll bring some down to replenish it. So we'll just wait for them to bring some of the food down. There you go, this is a delicious apple from the apple trees up above. It's good, we've got a nice little bit of a clear space out front. These things here are just decorations, rocks, flowers and mushrooms you can't interact with and you can build over. So we are going to build over. We're going to go into agriculture, and now we're going to start worrying about like replenishing our food supplies, because strawberry plants, which I harvested at the beginning, they are these little bushy looking things, don't grow back on their own. As far as I know, this is all just as far as I know, I've only been playing this for a few days. Apple trees do replenish if you just forage the apples. If you chop the tree down, that's it, it's gone. You need to plant more trees. But if you just either cut saplings from them or forage them, they will grow back their fruit and leaves over time, so that's good. But yeah, I don't have any kind of renewable food right here. So we are going to go into agriculture and make farms. Just going to make, that'll do, 7 by 5 to get started with. Again, menu didn't pop up, but it's fine because you can just right click on it. And you have to tell it what crop you want it to grow. So I'm going to say, I want it to grow strawberries. And it will say how many tilled plots you've got, how many seeds planted, and how many crops are ready. You can call it something, so let's call it, oh, for some reason that cancelled. Let's call it Strawberry Farm. And we'll keep the priority at 5 because it's not any more or less important than anything else. That's it, back. So now my agriculturists or farmers or whatever should start tilling this field. There you go. So while they're doing that, I'm going to tell my miners to dig out some more space. I'm going to tell them to dig out a 6 by 3 area on each side. So they'll start moving the dirt back as I'm mining, which is nice. Oh, and these guys are actually planting the seeds with the strawberries that I harvested. When you harvest strawberries, you get a seed and you get a strawberry. So they are using some of the seeds. Now, okay, so over here we've got some crates and bags and barrels and stuff. Crates store most solid items like dirt, metals. I'm guessing weapons and things later on, but I haven't got that far yet. Bags store a bunch of plant-related stuff like seeds, clippings, things like that. Barrels store liquids. Wine, milk, stuff like that. So I'm going to tell them to move their barrels into the stockpiles because they'll be a lot more useful here. So to do that, you go to build, storage, and then which one you want to move. So I want to move some crates. So you tell it, I don't care which crate. It says that I've got 3 pine crates, but to be honest, I don't care. Put any crates in here. So we'll tell them to put one of them in here, and we'll tell them to put 2 of them in here. Now, because they're on a stockpile, they'll automatically adopt that stockpile. So they'll move anything out of the ones that they put here that isn't wood, and they'll start putting wood inside. So that's useful. We'll have to make some more to go here. I'm going to tell them to... How many barrels do I have? I think I've got 2 barrels, haven't I? So I'll tell them to put both barrels in here, and that'll keep all the food and drink together. And I'm going to tell them to put, I think I've got 2 bags, so I'll tell them to put the bags in here. So now, as I unpause, you see this crate here and this crate here have gone green. That's because a gnome is now hard at work moving the crates over. Once they've done that, they'll probably start moving the bags and the barrels as well. So they'll be here any second now. There you go. So he's put both of those crates in. That's good. So all of these guys are just kind of idling around now. So what I'm going to tell them to do is start building workshops. Now workshops are how you make any items, basically. So in this episode, we're just going to make some of the really basic ones. So we'll start with a sawmill. Oh, no, we won't start with a sawmill. This tells you what you need for a sawmill. So you need 10 of any log, which I've got plenty of, but you also need 10 raw stone, which I don't have any of. So we're going to have to go mining. So there's 2 ways that you can get stone. You can either dig down, or you can try and find somewhere that has some. That's granite, which is stone, but it's an awful long way away. It might actually be easier to just dig straight down and hope that I find some. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to dig a way out here. Meanwhile, they're still moving those barrels and things in. I'm going to turn walls off so I can see what I'm doing. Right, so we need to start digging some stairs down. So I've told them to dig some stairs, which will go down here. Now I need to mine out an area down here, see if there's any stone. If not, dig further down. Don't look like there's anything here, so we'll just have I clicked the right thing? Yes. There you go, so we'll dig some stairs down. The sun has set. It's now night time. Night time of the first day. Still not really finding any... why can't I speak? Still not finding any stone, but that's okay. Sometimes it can take a little while. Sometimes you won't find any for like the first 5 or 6 levels, but that's fine. It's not fine, really. Really, I should be finding it right now, but never mind. We'll just keep digging until we find something, you know. Could only take so long. Really? Well, this is unlucky. What am I on? Floor 8? I don't think I've ever dug this low before. Aha! We have stone! Hooray! So we'll just tell him to dig out all of this stone here. Now, stone does take longer to dig than average dirt, but, you know, kind of makes sense. Keep it symmetrical, because I'm OCD like that, I guess. I'm not really OCD. I hate using that phrase. Right, so we're just letting them do some stone mining there, as I spill my Coca-Cola all over the place. Thankfully, not on the keyboard. Once they have dug all of this stuff, well, to be honest, by now it should be fine. I should have enough to say that I want to build some workshops. So we'll start. See, this is now... Ah, there you go. I've got 28 raw granite. So we'll tell them to build a workshop. Workshops take up 3x3 spaces, and they should be somewhere near the items that they're going to need. So a sawmill's going to need all this wood. So we'll tell them to build that, and we'll also tell them to build a basic stone cutter, who will cut raw stone into blocks, which you could use to build other things. So they go green to say that they actually have a gnome working on them. For some reason I didn't punch through here, which I should really. Let's just see how my diggers are getting on. There you go. So they found quite a lot of stone down here, so when I need more I can quite easily come down and start mining out these walls, which is good. There you go, so they're still constructing these workbenches here. How are we getting on outside? Ah, good! Our strawberry farm is finished. So we're also going to build a pasture, which is for animals. But first, actually, we're going to clear this bit of land. I like how this miner's just going out for a random piece of wood. That's probably because they have space now. Yes, it is. There you go. So we're just... oh yeah, I guess I should tell you guys. These white ones here and here, these are cotton plants. So they give cotton seeds and cotton, which we will be using soon. So, you know, if you see any, feel free to harvest it. Now we're going to put the pasture down. So, okay, so as you can see, this is annoyingly clay floor, which you can't make into pasture. So I'm going to need to terrain, replace floor. Now this is what you want to replace it with. So I want to replace it with dirt clump floor. I'll just tell it to do these little areas here. And now, hopefully, once my farmers are done, they'll run out here with some dirt. I think it's the farmers that do it. Don't quote me on that though. They'll run out here with some dirt and replace it with dirt floor, which can be turned into farm or pasture. Ah, I got messages down here. People are falling asleep on the floor. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how things work for the first few days. I don't have enough time to build beds. Not yet. But soon. Okay, I guess I've got to wait for that to be grass. That's kind of annoying. In the meantime then, I'm going to build another farm on this side. I'll do 8 by 5, and I'll say I want this one to be cotton. Cotton's going to be useful for making beds, making bags, making all kinds of stuff like that. Oh good, these ones are finished. So these workshops are finished. Right, last thing that I'm going to do in this video then is just tell you guys how workshops work in extremely basic terms. Right click them to open them up, and this brings up a list of recipes over here, a list of jobs that they have queued up here. So you click the recipe that you want. This bench, this sawmill, can only make planks. And it requires carpentry 1, so the gnome has to have some basic skill in carpentry, but only basic. I think most gnomes come with at least 1. And to make a plank, you need 1 of any log. You can designate which log you want to use, but I don't really care. So I'll tell it to make any log. So I'll tell it to craft a plank. And if we come out, you see it's gone green, and you see a gnome has taken a piece of log and now has put a plank in here. If you click in pine crate, you'll see pine plank. Hooray! So, but I don't just want to make 1 plank, I want to make tons. So you click craft and you click repeat, and now they'll make repeated planks until they're all out of wood. Unfortunately at the moment I don't think there's a way of just saying like, you know, keep a stockpile of 20 planks. I think they will just literally make infinite planks, or you have to tell them manually to make planks. That's about it. So we'll set up this, what is this? The stone cutter to make stone blocks the same way. And, you know, you could just come in here and click off repeat if you don't want him, if you want him to stop making them. So it's up to you to, like, keep manual control over your stuff at the moment. There you go, so it's making loads of planks, which is sweet, and they're making loads of things which you can then use to make other workshops. But we'll do that next time. They're making a nice little farm out here, and hopefully grass will grow here before I start recording again, and then we can make a pasture as well. So, thanks for watching. This has been the humble beginnings of my Gnomoria Let's Play. It'll keep going until, you know, I think it's either gotten too complicated to show in a video, or I just get bored with it. Whatever comes first, really. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time, when we'll continue making our little underground village. Hooray! Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.